Hey everybody, Jeremy here, and at long last, I finally have the last figure that I need to complete the Marvel Legends X-Men Build-A-Figure Colossus. Sabertooth has been the most difficult figure to find thus far, but I think that stores are starting to stock him. I think that supply situation may be coming to an end. But I did order this on GameStop.com. That's where I got this from. But I've also seen a bunch of them at Target, and I've seen them on Amazon. So it's really looking up. So if you've been looking for this figure, now's the time to go out there and try to get him, because it looks like he's being stocked. So as I said in all the other previous reviews that you can check out in the description, there are 6 figures total that you need for this wave, and I have reviews for all of them. So if you're interested in either Rogue, Cyclops, Sabertooth, Shadowcat, or Iceman, or Legion, you can check out those reviews. But finally, let's open this guy up, take a look at him, and then in the next video, we're gonna do the Build-A-Figure review. So now that we have our good friend Sabertooth finally in hand, was he worth that long wait, despite the fact that he has the Build-A-Figure head for Colossus? And I'm going to say, yeah, I would say so. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not the most perfect figure in the world as far as all the things that us collectors will love to see in every single figure ever made, but I still think that it is a good figure. One of the highlights of it, to me, is you take a look at his arms. Take a look at the texture on his arms. Because, of course, you know, he's hairy, he's ripped, you know, and I love the way how they kind of showed that kind of hair on both of his arms, you know, and you can feel it. So in addition to his big Ripley muscles, it really helps to bring out that more savage nature of Sabertooth that's beyond this pretty cool, angry head sculpt and his really awesome sideburns. So I really do like those details on him, because I think those are kind of key to this particular character. And at the same time, the articulation, which we will get into in a little bit, is it's all right. You know, like I said, it's not perfect, but I think that is still reasonably good. So before we really get into that, let me show you some of the accessories that comes with him now. As you can see, this is the head sculpt that I decided to put on him, like the angry head sculpt. But that's not the default one. The default one is this one, where it looks like he's just smirking a bit. So this is what he comes with, but I wanted to have the more angry Sabertooth. And the other thing is, he also comes with 2 ponytails, interchangeable ponytails. So he has the one that just plugs into the back of his head right there. And then here's the other ponytail. Now, they're the exact same thing, but it just makes it so that each head can have its own ponytail, which can be kind of cool, especially if you want to do like a custom or something like that. You don't have to worry about taking from one figure and leaving that figure without something in order to do your custom. So now you just get 2 of them. And with him, you also get 2 fisted hands. So he comes with the 2 open hands by default, but you can also swap out for these fisted hands. And it's really easy to know which hand goes on which without looking at the thumb, because you can see that the left hand is not going to have like this metal armor piece on the gloves, but the right hand will. So that's how you know which ones you're going to put on. It's all up to you. Now, kind of going back to the ponytail, how it affects articulation. It only really affects his head tilt going up, because the ponytail, you know, gets in the way of moving the head back. But he still has a good range when he wants to look down. You can see that that's how far he can look down. And without the ponytail, he would be able to look up a lot farther. You can kind of just see the hinge on the back of the neck. It still has a ways to go, but it's just not possible with that ponytail, unless you kind of move the ponytail off to the side a bit, and then you'll be able to get the head to move up. Now, you know, he's not cranked towards the sky, but it's still a lot more, or at least reasonably more, than this right here. Now, for his arm articulation, he's really jacked. So there's not a whole lot of movement in the biceps, you know. So it's a single jointed elbow that doesn't quite get to 90 degrees. It's almost there, but that huge bicep is just kind of blocking it. So you don't quite get it right there. That's with the right arm. And then it's the same thing with the left arm. So that hinders what I've said in all these reviews. What I would love to do is get the hands to go across the chest to the point where it's very close to touching the chest, or they actually do touch the chest, because I think that that provides you with a lot more options for your poses, but you cannot do that with this guy. But you can, however, have his arms go in and out like that for your little happy butterfly. But the weird thing about this is it seems like he can do it more on one arm than the other. Let's see if we can just kind of get him a little bit more straighter here. At least it is on my figure. See, it kind of looks like I can move it in and out on this side. And then over here, to me, it just feels like it's more of a limit. It's not a huge limit, but it's just kind of weird. It doesn't feel equal to me. Maybe it just needs to be worked out. Now, because there's no armor or any capes or any other type of costume getting in the way, he's just wild and free. That allows him to get a really good bend on his back, so you can see how far he can bend down like that, and then likewise how far he can bend back. So that's a pretty darn good ab crunch, if I do say so myself. And of course, the rotation at the waist, pretty good for that kind of savagey bending down kind of a pose I had him in when I first started this video. So I really do like that. The legs, you know, they're good. You can get them out that far. That's about as much as I would expect from Sabertooth, you know. And of course, we got the always welcome double jointed knees there. Always gives us pretty a good amount of options. You can swivel right there at the upper leg, and you got the toe articulation, hinging that up and down, and then you got the pivot as well. But the boot does not swivel. So that, come on, let's straighten them up. There we go. So that is the range of articulation that you get with this particular Sabertooth. The costume itself is, you know, is really quite basic, is what we come to expect from Sabertooth, this sort of earthly brown look. So he's not going to be very colorful. So that's fine. And of course, we're talking about the Age of Apocalypse version, which to me, about half the time in this particular line, I haven't been thrilled with the way that the costumes look. It's not the fault of the figure. It's just, that's the way that they were designed. So I'm definitely not going to hold that against him. But, you know, this isn't the classic Sabertooth cartoon version that people my age will be familiar with the, you know, fur around the neck. You know, that's a really cool looking Sabertooth. That's kind of like my favorite design, but you know, that's just the old person in me talking. But what he has here is pretty good. You know, it's just flat brown, nothing special going on. We do get some texture on the belt and a little bit at the top of the boot, but other than that, it's just regular. But I still do like this figure. He's a good chunky plastic boy. I think that the hair sculpt is done really good. It's nice and wavy. I think that's great. I think the face sculpt is really good. I really love that angry look. I love the sort of the one tooth kind of showing right here on the smirking version of it. You know, so it's a good figure. It's a good figure. So you need this to complete the Build-A-Figure wave for the Cyclops so that you can get the head. And even if he didn't come with the head, I still think that this is a figure worth picking up. All right, so that is it for our good friend Sabertooth. I'm glad we're finally able to get him in here to review him. So check him out. You should be able to find him pretty much everywhere at this point, hopefully. Thank you all so much for watching. Till next time, I'm Jeremy, and I'll talk to you later.